Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John, and today we wrap up our small horror movie week with something by Stephen King, which is The Mist from '07. Did you watch this as a kid back in the day?
What? I remember I did. Like snippets, and then once I got to like the pandemic, that's when I fully like sat down because I like a new TV show came up. Didn't finish it, by the way. But I was like, I'm gonna watch The Mist before I watch the TV show. And holy shit, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I like this more than it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know it was like maybe like pretty much compared to the Bible with how thick it was the entire movie. But God, I really want to see the expanded universe of.
Yeah, this is the Bible of Stephen King.
When do they like? When do they like? The kids
grow up,
like meet the giant turtle thing. Yeah,
probably in chapter 500. I don't know. Haven't reached it.
Anyway, yeah. So like, I really want them to kind of explore this a little bit more. I am going to give, well, since rewatching this, I'm going to give the TV show another shot.
All right.
Because the entire time I was so intrigued. This is probably one of the best Stephen King, like book adapted to a movie.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah. This is directed by the same guy who directed Shawshank, and The Green Mile. Like
no fucking shit then. Like,
yeah, he also had.
That's why it's fucking good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he also had a major role in changing the ending from the book to the movie, and like Stephen King approves of this ending more than his original idea, which is.
Okay. Without like spoiling what the original ending was. Sorry, the ending in this movie was. What's the original ending?
It's more open-ended. There's no clear answer. I think they just drive on forever.
Okay. I prefer this ending more than.
Yeah, it's more effective. I saw this back in the day. You know what? I saw this in Star Wars once. Never got the ending. I just saw the part. I ended in the part where they escape the supermarket, and I'm like, I hope it has a happy ending because I have to leave.
Yeah.
And then years later, I caught up, and I was like, oh my.
Dude, we tend to forget how fucking deep this movie was.
Yeah.
Rewatching it, I was a little bit shocked. Like, I didn't know this was the plot. Like, I don't remember this being the plot because I do remember watching this movie.
Yeah. It
was
just
I half asleep.
I think Stephen King said his original idea was how ordinary people act with extreme circumstances, and this is just a good showcase of what people can do or how they react to extreme situations. Like, do they band together? Do they turn to God? Do they go crazy? And the answer is all of the above, apparently, according to Stephen King.
Yeah, and no, it you could say that like the supermarket itself,
Yeah.
kind of like what encompassed it's like the representation of the world.
Yeah.
And like the people inside is just different societies. Some leave, some stay, some create cults. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to go with, and I do love this entire plot where, yeah, sure, the Mist is a big it is a big plot point here,
Yeah.
but just like how regular people would behave when it comes to like a dire situation, and like they explain it very well too. It's not like, okay, not gonna lie, some characters are a little like, they're just like, I really want to get rid of you myself.
Yeah.
But like, oh shit, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Yeah, like the lady who forms a cult by Marsha Gray Harden. I'm like, I didn't like you in The Walking Dead. I don't like you here.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of The Walking Dead, there's a lot of cast members who are from The Walking Dead.
Right? Yeah.
Like, I count like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I caught like 3
alumni
stars from The Walking. Yeah, alumni.
I do love Thomas Jane and Andre Brower, the late Andre Brower in this movie. Like Thomas Jane just being the ordinary dad, having to step up, and Andre Brower being the doubting Tom of this movie until he gets
Yeah.
off screen. I'm like, I guess we never see Captain Holt ever again.
Yeah. I don't understand why they give us like that small plot point of like it could have been anybody.
Yeah,
You know, it didn't have to be the guy he kind of relates with and like goes to the store with.
yeah,
Andre Bauer's is pretty good, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, you know, is he the guy who goes hey? Sorry,
Andre Brower. You mean
Yeah.
Thomas Jane?
Thomas Jane. My bad, Thomas Jane.
No, he's not the actor. He's not Christopher Lambert. He's Punisher.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, they kind of look the same.
I really need to see a picture of them side by side. But like, yeah, I agree. Both Andre Brower and him are great. Like, Marcia Gray Harden really is great as a character. I really hate like if we've seen people like this in real life, and I'm like, I don't like you. By experience, I rather not be with you. Just like, don't you see it as the end times? We all
Yeah.
must say sorry to God. We must ask Him for forgiveness. And you're like, can you please shut the fuck up? One is the Book of Revelations have tentacle monsters. Can you explain that?
She'll probably spit out some bullshit or something, but not gonna lie. When she was like going off,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh, I'm correct," and she starts like kind of like putting her hand on the kid. If I was the parent, that hand is gone.
Yeah, but can you get your fucking hand off my kid?
That was a bad mom, in my opinion. That was a bad mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, well then, I do want to talk about the suspense of this movie. Like, sure, we get like one of our first deaths is like that poor like kid that just works there.
Oh yeah.
But of course, because they are machismo men and will be like, "Hey, I'm manly. Are you saying I'm not manly?" And like, no, there are things killing people outside in the smoke. But okay, go nuts.
Yeah.
You know.
Poor woman.
And I feel like
Sam
deserve.
Witwer gets off by some bug monster.
And yeah, the suspense is real, dude. Like just being alone in the store and like the glass. It's just glass.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how has the swarm not just like
Yeah.
gone in?
Wasn't
Yeah.
Thomas Jane just like, I don't know how. I get why the tentacle monster at the back is held back because the back is steel. How the fuck are we supposed to defend against him at the front? It's just glass, and they're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, how are we supposed to do that? And you see the bug monsters come in, and you're like, yeah, it's not going to hold up, and they kill a bunch of people. There's one dude in a panic who accidentally sets himself on fire.
Yourself on fire. That's a tad bit funny, but I mean, like, that's horrible.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he's just like, please kill me at the end. You're like, this is horrible. This is just misery all over again.
Yeah. And then, like, sadly, they couldn't. And slowly but surely, you could see, like, the crazy religious lady
Yeah.
is actually getting to some people. And, like, they did explain it pretty well that they're like, she's, like, her answers might not be right, but she's giving answers.
Yeah.
And some people like to cling to that.
Yeah.
You know?
The moment that really crawls up my skin is when they're looking for medicine for the burned guy and the store with
In the
spiders.
pharmacy, I was just like, this is great. But also, ew, you know?
Spiders with acid webs, and they just kill you with it as well. I'm like, my nightmares. And it's not like
I
one
don't-
stump kills them, it's just multiple stumps. I'm like, great, fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and like you gotta love how like the old lady was a fucking badass here with like her Lysol and just like fight her and just like alright.
Yeah. Also, Toby
but-
Jones is pretty good here. I like him. I'm like, I can't believe you were Dobby for most of my life, and like that's all you were to me.
Oh yeah, like he was in my opinion one of the best side characters here.
Yeah.
Like people kind of underestimated him because of like yeah he's a small guy wears glasses so what.
Yeah, he's also a
Like, he's-
marksman.
Yeah, the dude's actually like a champion in like marksmanship. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, and he's like understandable. He's kind of like the right hand man of
Thomas Jane.
our main character. Yeah,
Yeah,
of our
yeah.
main character.
I just felt bad for his kid the entire time. He's like, there's big bugs, and also inside there's a crazy lady making crazy people. Actually,
I
crazier.
understand. Yeah, I understand. Because holy shit, the fucking cult just like turns like that. And you know how like what was the name of the girl? The teacher.
Oh yeah,
It was just like it's just been 2 days.
right.
I was just like, does society really fall that fast?
Apparently, I mean, to be fair, we've seen it living in the pandemic. How people act,
That's my
fucking panic buying every roll of tissue and alcohol and every stock of food, and you're like, what about the rest of us, dipshits?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've
But yeah.
we've already seen the mist in real life.
All right. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like
I felt
Yeah,
bad
so they-
for Sam Witwer's character.
I'm with worst character. I was gonna get to it. I was just like, oh, this poor bastard.
Yeah.
Oh no, because they start revealing that like his two like buddies they came into the store with kind
Yeah.
of unalived themselves. Not
Yeah.
kinda. They unalived themselves
Yeah, out of guilt.
because out of guilt, and yeah, they kind of know something that we don't. And there's like an experiment that's happening within the mountains of this little town. And one of the crazy cultists, by the way, is the guy that I'm really annoyed with.
Yeah.
I really hate his character. Not the actor, just the character. The guy who immediately just turned into a cultist after like just getting traumatized.
Yeah, after like the guy becomes crazy, and like he rats out poor Sam Witwer, and he's torn apart by the mob and the monsters.
Yeah. So, well, like one of the chef guys like stabs him.
Yeah. And I'm like, poor guy. And
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. If ever we are in a society, and let's say I don't have any family members, but we're in that society where that crazy lady was kind of just running shit, I'm gonna take it up with a monster. You know, like this lady preaching a lot, and I'm just like, I can't take it. This is her in of itself is already a stuff of nightmares.
Yeah. This
So like Stephen King was like, ooh, creepy spiders, but he like religious woman,
Yeah.
you know?
crazy religious woman. Like by the end when the cult is all going maximum crazy, she's like, kill the child and the woman, and like Toby Jones, she's like, you know what? I've had enough of this, and just offs her. I'm like, yeah, that seems like an appropriate response for the situation.
I agree.
Yeah, and they all like Thomas Jane and his company escape, and you're like they're driving down like their houses, and he sees his poor wife, and you're like, well, that's rough.
Yeah. Well, you forget to mention that like they like their whole endeavor just trying to get to the car, and people getting separated. By the way, I don't know if I'm just being a petty bitch, but like, if I was in that situation, I have no family members, and that cult is already kind of going out of hand.
Yeah.
I would have broken a glass, you know, just like broken a window and just been like, "Fuck you guys, I'm out," and just hopped into a car.
Yeah.
If I get taken out by a bug, I'm like, "Alright, deserved." But at the same time, we're getting less of those.
Yeah. And then like they do escape, and you're like, where are they gonna go? How are they gonna escape the mist? The mist is everywhere, and they see a fucking Leviathan, and you're like, how the fuck do you avoid that? Jesus Christ. And even they're like, yeah, this is like absolutely futile. They run out of gas, and they're like, yeah, there's no escaping this. We either die like of our own choice or die by these monsters. And like, I know all of you would rather choose to die by your own choice at this point. And he's like, and Thomas Jane's like, I'll be the one to offer you guys, I'll kill all of you guys. And you're like, and the woman's like, but there's only there's 5 of us and only 4 bullets. How are you gonna do this? And he's like, I'll think of something.
I'll think of something. I was like, oh my god. And just watching this scene, like, the last thing you see is just like the kid waking up to probably his dad pointing a gun at him.
Yeah, his own son goes first.
I mean, seems reasonable. Not gonna lie, I don't think you would want to see your dad offing the rest of the survivors.
Just
But yeah,
he just mercy kills all of them, and he's just left alone. And like Thomas Jane's acting in this whole situation, you're like, damn, I'm surprised you didn't win any awards for this last bit of your performance here, because it is painful to see this man being like, fuck it, I'd rather go out on my own terms. I'm gonna fucking face these fucking monsters. And you're like, oh shit.
And this fucking movie just had to have the sickest fucking humor. like the absolute bitch slap to the face kind of humor.
Yeah. And like you think the Leviathan is back or something worse is coming back, and you see a tank, and you're like, is that the last tank on Earth? And you see more tanks, and you see soldiers. The mist clears, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? What kind of fucking ending is this?
Yeah, it's an absolute bitch slap to her face.
Yeah.
And then you just see like like the soldiers are like, what's wrong with this guy? Oh, fuck. Yeah, it's like, oh, man.
Like, you're like, if he just waited like 2 more minutes, everything would have been alright.
You know, or like maybe they were like, let's stay in the car, let's think about this for a bit. You know, if we really want to do it, let's come to a decision. But now he's like, you know, I got this. You know.
It's like the bleakest ending I've ever seen to any movie, and I'm like, it stays with you for the rest of your life. Like, it's such a core memory. Like, rewatching this movie, I was like, oh, I remember everything now. I remember all the deep philosophical moments and this fucking sucker punch of an ending. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ. And to think that Stephen King was like, yeah, I approve of this, other than my They Just Drive Forever ending. I'm like, damn, Stephen King, you're a bleak man, but creatively speaking, it's a great ending.
In my opinion, yeah, I kind of like this ending, even though it is bleak. You know,
yeah,
it's not a cop out ending in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not like a cheap happy ending where everything's solved and you're like, that doesn't match the tone of this movie. But yeah, I still stand by the director's decision to make this ending work. It's like the ending of Seven, where they're like, the studio's like, can you change the ending of Seven? Can something else happen? And both Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt were like, we're gonna fucking quit if you change this ending. And you're like, yeah. I agree with that. But like, what would you rate The Mist?
I would rate The Mist, I give it a 9 out of 10. I really like this movie. Like, I love the little nuance it's trying to say, like the little message it's trying to say, like how society would change in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like there was no weak characters except for that one guy. You know?
Yeah.
That one guy who like just turned as after like the pharmacy situation.
Yeah.
I don't know, the entire time he was just annoying and just making horrible decisions. Like,
yeah,
I'll let the kid go out. He's a man. Kid dies, and he's like, hey, sorry, I ain't gonna make that mistake again. And then when they're like, hey, you know what bugs are attracted to? Light. You know, I'm gonna start turning on all the lights when the rest of the people are trying to turn them off.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know what he was trying to do when he was like, gotta turn on all the lights. Gotta turn on all the lights. I'm like,
aren't you listening to everybody? What's wrong with your communication skills?
And then he like goes up to the, what's his name again? Ollie or something?
Yeah.
He was like, do you want the lights on or off? And the girl like, ow! And then yeah, he turns and then he's like part of the cult now. And I'm like, this guy's clearly not redeemable, and he's an absolute piece of trash kind of character in my opinion.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it. You know, even the crazy religious lady was such a strong character in of itself.
Yeah, like amazing antagonist. Like yeah, I agree with you. 9 out of 10 from me as well. It's a pretty great movie. Like the only thing that holds it back a bit is maybe the CGI isn't the best, but the lack of great CGI is made up for the lack with the more greater plot. Like the plot makes out for like the lack of CGI, and like it's still very effective. As I said before, the ending is still like the biggest sucker punch a movie can ever give you, where you're like, maybe they can make it out, maybe the misses never know. No, like it leaves you questioning, like, what would I do in that situation? Would I just be like, you know what, I rather I'd rather not be eaten by bugs and be host to their babies, or host to
Yeah.
baby spiders. I rather go to the afterlife. You know.
Oh, fuck, I remember. Now that you mention it, I think that's probably the worst fucking thing I ever saw in that movie. Was the guy just being the nest itself. I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
nope, I'm out.
Like either die a slow, horrible death, or just be like, you know what, this is the faster option. Yes, Thomas Jane, you can take me out. But yeah, it's a great movie. It still holds up, and it's still one of Stephen King's best adaptations. And like this director, I don't know if he's retired or not, but I hope he comes back in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I do like the start of this movie where he is a painter, or like he makes movie posters, but specifically for Stephen King.
Oh yeah,
movies.
or the Dark Tower. I was like, I know that.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. And then he's like, you see the thing at the back too. I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
Great references. But yeah, to the audience watching, what's a Blake movie that you really like? Is it this? Is it All Quiet on the Western Front? Is it, I don't know, The Fox and the Hound, where they end up not being friends still, and you're like, no, why? Oh fuck, is it?
Enzo just watched it recently.
Is it what else is there? Is it Bridge to Terabithia, where you're like, Leslie, why must you do this to me, movie? I can't think of other Bleak movies for the life of me, but yeah, whatever it is, comment down below. Do you have an answer?
No, I like a happy way.
You know, Infinity War counts as a bleak ending as well. Where like, oh, all my favorite characters are dead. Half of them anyway.
They come back and they give us a long line of shitty movies, so it's fine.
Oh well, back in 2018, we didn't know that. But yeah, if you like our stuff here, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see your best and funniest moments. Spotify to hear us on the go. And the video I'm on TikTok as Zoda's Voices and Wolf on Letterboxd. Where can I find you?
You can find me at JohnJoM_ on Instagram. It is my account.
And until the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
So.